Welcome to In Focus. I'm your host, Yesenia Taveras. Simone Josey is a recent graduate of Mount Pleasant High School with a 4.3 GPA. She has been accepted to 16 universities, that's right, 16 universities, and has chosen North Carolina A&T University, and she's traveled the world from Egypt to France to Italy. This amazing young woman has joined us today to share with us her journey, her adventures, and how she's actually in the field of medical engineering. So welcome to the show, Simone.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm so excited. I mean, you're doing phenomenal things, and I just get so excited when I see young girls, young minority girls who are really doing wonderful things in our community. But a lot of people might not know that you are from Wilmington.
Yes.
You're not being choiced in. So talk to us a little bit about your experience as a Wilmingtonian here in the city.
So I was born and raised in Wilmington, and I enjoy Wilmington because I've also done schooling in Wilmington from elementary school to middle school to high school. So all of my schooling has been in Wilmington, from Carcroft Elementary to Claymont Elementary, and I went to PS Middle School and finally landed at Mount Pleasant High School. I've also taken many opportunities within Wilmington. I have been one of the recipients of the Kimura Scholarship, and I've done Wilmington Youth Jazz Band, and I just love how close-knit Wilmington is as a city and how much support that I've gotten from the city in general.
Oh, that's wonderful. And is there anything that you went through as a young child to now living in the city that you could shed some light on us in regards to just your insight as being a youth here in our community?
Well, recognizing that there are a lot of youth in need. I've done a lot of community service within Wilmington, and just recognizing the different parts of Wilmington, going out into the community, for example, doing food drives at the Ronald McDonald House, and just recognizing the need for education in youth.
Wonderful. And Simone, where did your passion, a lot of people might not know that you are going into medical engineering.
Yes.
So when did this all start? As a young minority, you're into the STEM field, so how does that actually come about?
Well, before I wanted to become a biomedical engineer, I actually wanted to be a film composer. And
wow, welcome to the show.
But my ideas soon changed as my parents put me in a program through Del Tech called StemUp Delaware.
Okay.
And through StemUp, I learned more about the medical field. We toured different hospitals, we toured different schools, including Harvard, and just different schools up and down the East Coast. But specifically when I was a sophomore in high school, we visited the Alfred I. Morris Hospital, and I went and shadowed a man, I don't remember his name, but in the far back of the hospital, and he was a pediatric biomedical engineer. And many people seemed to be bored by his insight, but I thought it was interesting. We were in a small room, and he had many of his products just laying around the room, and I just thought it was cool how he had a creative mind, and he made his thoughts come to life through 3D printing and just engineering, and he was able to help people.
And so now you have found a passion to get into this field of prosthetics and equipment that help people. And so talk to us a little bit about that. Like, I know you talked about doing some community service and finding a passion to help others, but now you're trying to put the medical aspect into being that humanitarian as well.
Yes. So I've always had a creative mind. I've always liked to draw and write, but I like the thought that I can make a profit from something that I can also make tangible. So in school, I was in technology class and design class, and I was able to just make products through mechanical engineering and things in that perspective. And I just like the fact that I can have a thought and I can design what I want on the computer, and it can have a medical focus, and it can also impact people around me.
Okay, that's wonderful. Because I was going to say, nowadays people don't look at high schools as a place to really start your foundation before you go to college. But it's completely changed since I've been in high school. Now they're actually treating these high schools like this is your degree before you get to college, which is an amazing thing because mentally it helps you as well prepare. But how has Mount Pleasant High School prepared you for the woman you are today and where you're going to go soon?
Thank you. So I was a part of the Mount Pleasant High School International Baccalaureate program, and through this program, not only did I learn a lot educationally and academically, but I learned how to put myself out and become a determined, hardworking individual. So in regards to the IB program, we have to take a Group 6 class, which is a specific class. It could be art or music, technology. So I went down the technology field, and this was a career pathway that I decided would support my biomedical engineering interest. And as mentioned, we had to make a project that was tangible for the end of the year. And I was able to create a product that, like I said, was tangible and that I saw what I had envisioned, and that really inspired me through this program as well.
And has there been any type of hardships or obstacles you face or are going to face, you think, as a young minority in this STEM field?
I do. I think that a lot of people, as if I were to go into the STEM field, a lot of people would place stereotypes on me, given that I am a minority and I'm an African American woman. A lot of people may think that I may not be as hardworking or I may not be as determined as other people around me, but I'm determined to prove them wrong and determined to just be as hardworking and determined as I can be.
And what does this do for your life? Like, what are you getting out of this?
Specifically,
just being in this field alone, in the medical field.
Yes. So I've always been a person that's liked to help people. And I believe that through biomedical engineering, I can help people not just on a local level, but on a global level. And specifically with what I would like to do in the future in regards to having my own company, my own medical technology company, where I can advance prosthetics and research regenerative tissue. Just being able to help people that are in medical need.
And you're so very educated, well-rounded individual, and I know that comes with a lot of focus and a lot of time spent on academics and studying.
Yes.
So has that have any type of counteract in your life in regards to just being a normal teenager?
Yes, it definitely has. So finding a balance between my extracurricular activities and my academic life has definitely been a struggle. My agenda has been my best friend. And specifically, I learned how to use Google Calendars, and I think that has definitely been an important aspect of organization in my life. Just finding a balance between the two has been a real struggle, but I think I've learned to manage between soccer practice and cheerleading practice or marching band practice, and then having time to, read the book for English or just find a balance that's needed.
Yes, talk to us a little bit about marching band. You're part of marching band, jazz band. I mean, there's so many different extracurricular activities you're doing, as well as soccer. Talk to us a little bit about each one of these the sport and being in the band, and if there's any skills that you've been able to take away that's helping you now in life, and you think it's going to help you once you get to college.
Yes, so I put myself in these different, so specifically in high school, I found a different activity to do for each season. So marching band takes place during the fall season, cheerleading takes place during the winter, and soccer takes place during the spring. And I found different activities that come with diverse groups. So each group that I'm a part of has different people with different mindsets, so that I'm able to gain a different understanding, expose myself to diverse people around me. Through marching band, I've learned the importance of just hard work, and beyond that, understanding how to memorize music. That was a struggle for me. We had to memorize 5 songs for our show, and
march at the same time. Just basically breath support, and even staying fit during marching band. A lot of people don't realize that it is a sport. We have to run just like every other sport. Arm circles.
Yes. Yes.
I did marching band too.
And the 12 hours during band camp a day, it really brings people close. And I would say this has been one of my closest families that I've made out of Mount Pleasant High School. And furthermore, in cheerleading, also memorizing the cheers, having to go out in the middle of the games and perform a halftime type of performance, and just staying close with the people around me as well. That's also been fun. Also, in cheerleading, I've learned how to expose myself, but keep the drama down.
That's great to hear.
So,
especially as a young girl.
Yes, and through soccer, just having to keep up with everybody else in regards to athletics. So,
and competitiveness
it's
as well.
Very competitive. So, running and just having to train by myself and then having to come to practice and show what I've been working on. So.
Oh, that's amazing. You were part of the JV squad as well.
Yes. Yes.
So it's amazing to hear your perspective, though, as such a young teenager, the importance of being in a sport during every season.
Yes.
And that's kind of going to help you when you get to college, because some people only take one internship and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But the greatest teachers would teach you, no, you want to have one every semester.
Yes.
You want to make sure you get your hands into a little bit of everything before you leave the university. So that way, by the time you graduate, you already know pretty much what you want to do for your career.
Yes.
And here you've actually talked about the image. And it's very, insightful for me to hear your perspective in regards to the marching band Simone, the soccer Simone,
yes.
the cheerleader Simone. Because I remember going to high school, it was like the cheerleaders was one click,
yes.
the marching band was one click, and the soccer teams and all the other sports were one click. But here you were able to combine all three. So talk to us from the student's perspective. What did you learn while you were managing all three of those? Because each of them come with their own set of friends as well.
Yes.
So talk to us a little bit about that experience.
I've learned how to be myself through all of these. A lot of people would maybe recognize that there are different cliques within each of these different programs, but I've recognized that it's important to stay Simone through the marching band Simone, through the cheerleading Simone, and through the soccer Simone, and never defer from what I believe and what my values are. I think that's the most important thing I've taken out of being in all three of these clubs as well.
I love it, Simone. I love it, because there's that cliche quote about birds of a feather flock together.
Yes.
And even in my adult life, I'm like, no, that's not always true, because you might have one friend with different beliefs than you do, but that doesn't mean that shifts your belief or who you are as a person.
Yes.
So knowing how to, like you said, be a part of a very diverse community, a very diverse group of people, and learning how to manage and work with everyone. And it's amazing just to hear how you already have accomplished that mentally and physically in your life. That's wonderful. So now let's talk to our viewers about your experience being accepted to 16 universities. You just graduated from Mount Pleasant with a 4.3.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
But I mean, Simone, how did you apply to 16 universities and then get accepted as well? Talk to us about that process.
So I got a little application happy. I went through Common App and I just saw the amount of schools that offer biomedical engineering, and I just applied away. I also attended the City of Wilmington HBCU College Fair, and I just went around to each table and went with an open mind and just accepted everything that they had to offer for each school. And I also wanted to understand how their scholarships worked as well. So I went to each table asking about how much money they offered and what the requirements were. I think that's why I became application happy, because I recognized that at the time I didn't know what school I wanted to go specifically, but I didn't want to limit myself down. So, yes.
That's amazing, Simone. I am so grateful that you just shared with us your experience with the City of Wilmington's HBCU College Fair that we had last year. We covered it here at WITN 22. Myself, along with India, we're graduates of HBCU universities, so we were able to report on the different events that took place. But to hear your insight in regards to how that helped you choose your university and learn the scholarship process and how to apply, that just goes to show that our City of Wilmington is doing amazing things with our mayor and our president hand in hand, offering these opportunities to young children, young teenagers getting ready to go to college like you. That is just amazing to hear that it worked. So it means that we're doing things that's working for our community, and that's the most important thing to shed light on. It's just so wonderful to see. So now that you're going to go to North Carolina University A&T, shout out to HBCUs. What are you hoping to accomplish? I know you're going to go into the same field by biochemical engineering, medical engineering. So talk to us a little bit about what you're hoping to gain during these 4 years, and what is your end goal? I know you have some aspirations of being a CEO of your own company. Just share with us a little bit about your journey, what you're hoping to accomplish.
Well, first by going to North Carolina, which is a completely different state than Delaware, I'm hoping that I gain a sense of maturity. Being away from my family, I hope that I, can grow and develop by myself in an independent nature. But also at A&T, I hope that I can further my desire to play the saxophone. So I auditioned for the Blue Gold Marching Machine, and I was accepted.
Congratulations.
So, thank you.
I'm just going to say HBCU marching band experience is completely
Yes.
different. You will have some great times.
Yes, so I'm excited for that. I'm excited for everything it entails, from the homecoming to just being able to travel around, including going to the Honda Battle of the Bands, which is hosted in Atlanta, Georgia each year.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to gain a new sense of family while also having the HBCU support while going through with biomedical engineering. I know that A&T, their engineering department, is world known, and I'm just excited to be a part and be an Aggie.
That's wonderful. And like myself, I went to an HBCU, and one thing I learned is that they're very family oriented.
Yes.
They're really about helping uplift one another, and you're seeing other minority people, colored, brown people that are just like you, excelling in the field that you want to excel in, and are actually motivating. You have these group projects that you're going to be working on. But what about an HBCU gravitated you towards picking North Carolina A&T? Because you're very educated, 4.3 GPA. You could have chosen any university, but in particular, you chose an HBCU. So tell us your why.
Okay, so throughout elementary school, middle school, and high school, I've always been the minority in my class, specifically from the gifted program at PS to the International Baccalaureate program at Mount Pleasant. I've always been one of two African Americans, or one of three African Americans in my class. And just being surrounded by like-minded people that are also my color, or just also have the same background as me, I think that would push me even more, or I could learn, you know, from a cultural perspective, more about myself and more about my identity. And I think that's what an HBCU would provide for me.
And it's amazing to hear you share that with us, because our country, the United States of America, just recently celebrated a holiday, Juneteenth, and you are the former Juneteenth pageant queen.
Yes.
So talk to us. We're talking about identity, we're talking about color. Our country just now celebrating this holiday. Why did you decide to be a part of Juneteenth? What have you learned about it, and what have you been able to share with our community in regards to shedding light on this holiday?
So I decided to be a part of the Juneteenth pageant because I knew the pageant coach, Miss Sandy Clark, and she's an active member at my church. I'd always heard about the pageant, and my sister had participated in it before, but I thought I would give it a chance and a try. When I was a part of it, it was life-changing. The people that I met, it was a close-knit group of girls. Just even the process, it was a family enrichment program. So from learning etiquette to just how to present myself as a young lady in the community, all of these things worked up towards the pageant. And even the pageant night, it was just life-altering. Having to speak in front of a group of people, just the pageant night was good. And then being Miss Juneteenth 2017, that was even better, having to go into the community and recognizing that I'm a role model for the girls in the community. I had this big crown and this sash, and just having young girls look up to me and question like who I was, and being able to proudly say that I was Miss Juneteenth 2017. So.
And what have you learned from the holiday just as a minority?
Oh my gosh, I've learned just so much about the pride of being an African American woman, knowing what my ancestors had to endure, and then knowing the power of knowledge. As Juneteenth is a celebration for when the last slave was notified of their freedom, just knowing that it took 2.5 years for that to be recognized.
That's right. Yeah. And our state alone, Delaware, we didn't adopt the holiday until the year 2000.
Yes.
And we're only in 2019 right now, so it hasn't been that long. But it's amazing to hear from your perspective in regards to how, even at such a young age, it still has some weight and carries a lot of importance in your life as well. So now I do want to shed some light on some of the organizations that you were a part of. I know as a high school student, you were able to complete an internship at Christiana Hospital, which is major. I have a cousin who went to University of Delaware and is actually working at Christiana Hospital, and just trying to get in this field is very difficult to actually get your foot in the door. But at such a young age, you haven't even graduated from university yet. You've already had that internship experience. You were able to shadow some doctors, kidney transplant, things like that. Talk to us a little bit about this experience, and how importantly, most importantly, how did you get into it? For those students who are watching, who want to say, maybe I want to have that opportunity, take us back to that.
Okay, so since freshman year, I've been a part of StemUp Delaware, which is through the Deltech Community College. And they were the ones that put my foot through the door for Christiana Care and Christiana Hospital. So I wasn't notified until later that I would be specifically in the kidney transplant department, but they tried to match up my career aspirations with the programming that would be good in the Christiana Hospital. So when I was at the kidney transplant center, I took calls and I was able to meet patients. I also shadowed some of the doctors within the kidney transplant section, and specifically understanding the importance of dialysis, and it furthered my understanding of the importance for prosthetics in the medical field. So I think that was a great experience that I had that I know many people don't have. And also putting my foot through the door for the kidney transplant office, I was able to secure my shadowing experience through the biotechnician spot in the Christiana Care facility.
That's
as
wonderful.
Yes.
And were you able to take away anything, like
Yes.
any contacts or people that you still stay in touch with
Yes.
now?
So the head person that orchestrated everything beyond StemUp, I'm still in contact with her. So I just would like to thank her, and just being able to have the knowledge of walking with doctors and understanding their perspective and just knowing what they go through day to day in their life. It just was amazing.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
And Simone, share with us in a personal light, what has helped you along your journey here? I know you have a very supportive mother. She's with
Yes.
us today. But could you share with our younger generation in regards to what helped you become so successful at such a young age? Because it might be able to help them as well.
Yes. Just looking around and I would not compare myself to others. So knowing that I'm my own task and I know what's best for me, but also having a supportive group behind me, including my parents, being able to push me forward, but also motivate me at a young age to be independent, while also recognizing the importance of schooling and what it can do in the future. Just determining what I believe is my level of success, or just what I would like to pursue in the future. So just understanding what my goals are and knowing what I need to do to get to my goals in the future.
Okay. And lastly, before we leave, I'm giving you the floor. Anything you would like to share with us in regards to just you as a person, and any advice you would like to share with the younger generation that's coming right behind your footsteps?
I would like to share that, like I said before, knowledge is power. So understanding, your cultural background, just knowing more about yourself will help you push and just help others around you as well.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Simone.
you.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
We'll have to make sure we see you. We're going to be starting HBCU celebration here in the city of
Yes.
Wilmington. We're going to have Battle of the Bands back too, so I'm pretty sure we'll probably meet again.
Yes.
And
Thank
congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Thank you. And on behalf of all of us here at WITN 22, I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you so much for watching this episode of In Focus. I've been your host, Yesenia Taveras.